I am so happy to be here because I have another inspired word. Change is progress. But what does that mean? What does that mean when I say change is progress? And this comes from speaking to a friend of mine this morning. We both were in the training center at the same time as flight attendants. And he is coming up on now what would be our 18th year of flying. Can you imagine? 18 years of doing anything is a robust number. And it's a robust number because it is 2 years shy of 20 years, but within 18, there's a level of mastery that comes from that. There's a level of, I know what I'm doing when you're pursuing anything for 18 years. Anyone on any of the lives, and yes, this is live on YouTube. Hope is speaking. This is live on my Patreon. That I will not do again. Hope is speaking, as well as TikTok live, because I love all three. However, this is what I'll be doing specifically on my Patreon as well as my YouTube. I'll be speaking like this, delivering some great words, maybe some advice, maybe some laughter, just what I've learned and how I love to speak, communicate, and fellowship with my fellow hopefuls. As me and my friend were talking about these 18 years, what came up was some of the new colleagues that have encountered people that are just bitter. And we all know them. We may have one time been them, but you know those people you work with and they know they need to quit. They know it's probably time for them to try something new. However, they refuse to do it. And they refuse to do it because of comfort. They refuse to do it maybe because of their financial status. It's not easy to say, you know what, this is no longer for me. I'm choosing to go a different route. But sometimes that redirection is necessary. At times that redirection is just what we need. And for any of you who are new or just popped in, I was a flight attendant for 15 years. And I encountered these same individuals. I remember when I was a new hire and my company had just opened up hiring after 2001. 9/11, there was a hiring freeze, so there wasn't many people that were hired. However, I was one of them. And it felt great because there was this beautiful report that stated you have a higher chance of being accepted to Harvard University than being hired by one of these 4 large international carriers. And I felt that. I felt chosen. I felt this is exactly why I'm here. I deserve to be here. And we might have felt that as well. However, there was others that did not feel this. In fact, they felt the opposite. They felt that because there was a breath of fresh air coming in, that they were essentially being pushed out. And that was never the case. That was never the case. So where does that feeling come from? Where does that feeling of, since there's new, I'm no longer wanted? And at times that just comes from that change that I started this talk off with. Change is necessary. And change is beautiful. However, the most pivotal change is the change that we decide to take. Meaning, this is no longer for me. I will choose a different route. Meaning, this no longer fulfills me. Therefore, I'm going to look for something else. Thank you for the likes on my TikTok live. Meaning, this no longer gives me that feeling of inspiration and movement and happiness and the people I see. That's telling you something. That's telling us something. And I remember being a new flight attendant and coming across some of these seasoned senior flight attendants that just happened to not be on that same vibration, that same feeling, that same welcoming exchange, which is okay. It's to be expected. Not everyone's going to be for you first. I don't expect everyone to be for me. However, what's not to love? I'm Hope. What's not to love? That is my thinking. However, I digress. And I'm sharing this because I remember in my early days of flying, after the 7 weeks of training, which was a whole life change, because anyone who has experienced flight attendant training, it can be stressful, it can be brutal, it can be unpredictable, and that's how it's built to be. Because the profession of aviation as a whole, there is no structure. The plane's not going to wait for you. If you need to be there at 1700, you need to be there. The plane's not going to wait. The passengers aren't going to wait. And that's important. And I'll touch on that later because that implemented a lesson within me. However, what I felt was the lack of camaraderie, which is what I looked forward to. It's what I loved. We're all these gods and goddesses in the sky and we're near the heavens and we're flying through the clouds. However, that's not how everyone saw it. So that was my first lesson. Because I welcomed this change, I was entering this new profession with wide eyes, wide arms, and my brain was ready to absorb it all. However, there were others that felt like I may be taking something from them. Why is that? Anyone in the chat, does anyone know where that comes from? Why the feeling of if you win, I must lose? Because in reality, there's enough for us all. It is never I'm winning because you lost. It is never I must take from you so you don't have enough. There's always enough for us all. And what it taught me was, number one, self-reliance on myself, but number two, this is a change that I have to adapt to. And every year I was learning more and more and more. And I believe there's always a level of mastery. We can always improve on what we are currently doing, but you do reach a level of mastery. And I felt that. And that's one of the reasons why I knew when it was time for me to hang up my wings and go for the next dream. However, this talk is about change and how change is there for us. How change is there to increase what you are presently. How change may feel difficult, but it's just that you have to learn it. You don't know it. You don't know it. And this reminds me of a gentleman that I was speaking to, and he said, you know, I hate starting from the bottom. This is why I don't start anything new, because, you know, I don't want to start from the bottom. What I thought was, we aren't going very far, young man, because if that is how you view life, that you don't want to start anything new, a new job, going back to school, starting a new relationship, moving to a different place because it's uncomfortable, then that means you will just stay where you are currently due to comfort. And it's not good or bad, it's just what it is. In the long run, if I'm choosing a partner, that may not be beneficial for me. It definitely isn't going to be beneficial because I love change. I love what I have to learn through change. I love how I fizzled through change, how I adapt through change, how I see myself change with change. And sit and think about that. That comfort, although I love comfort. Listen, I love a cashmere scarf. I love a cashmere blanket. I love some high thread count sheets. I love a warm house if it's cold outside. I love a cool house if it's hot outside. I love that comfort. But I look forward to discomfort because of what I have to learn to get to a better space. So as I speak about the time during training and how it was inevitable that I had to change, it was more of what was birthed in me. I felt that discomfort and I definitely stuck with it. I loved it. I felt that it was something that made me unstoppable. Thank you for the likes of the live. I appreciate it. Because with change, I'm a change master. Throw me in there. Let me go. Put me somewhere uncomfortable. I will figure it out. In fact, I love moving to a place where I don't know anyone. And I've done it several times. And when I share this with people, their immediate thought is, well, wait a minute. You live where? You moved to London? Did you know anyone? No, I didn't know anyone. I knew me. You moved to Hawaii? Do you have family there? No. But what is the intention of receiving that answer? Because I always have family. It's called a phone. It's called FaceTime. And it's called the support that I always have is always there. However, I know I can conquer it. And that's what I have learned through change. In fact, I've spoken about this before. I love building myself in a new setting. Meaning, when I move somewhere, I love not knowing anyone. I love finding my new coffee and tea shop. I love finding my new farmer's market. I love finding my thrift shop. I love finding the shortcuts to get to the bank. All of these things just challenge my mind, and it allows me to continue to navigate life with flexibility. And adaptability. So, nothing wrong with comfort, but when you stay in that comfort and you allow that comfort to be the reason why you don't try, why you don't reach for anything, why you don't dream anymore, how is that comforting? I will say that again. If you are in your comfort zone and that comfort has turned into, I don't want to leave here because it's too comfortable and I don't know if that's going to work and I'm not ready and I don't want to feel uncomfortable. How comfortable is that? How comfortable is it saying that? Exactly. It's not. But how often do we do it? How often do we do it within our friend groups? How often do we do it within a romantic relationship? How often do we do that, especially in our profession? I don't want to change. I'm at the top of the food chain. I already learned this. I can do it without thinking. I'm going to stay here. It doesn't matter if I've topped out income-wise. I don't know anything else, so why would I do it? Here's the thing. Everything is learned. Everything in life is learned, which means you can learn. You can learn something new. You can learn to adapt. You can learn a new skill. And it's that easy of just saying, well, yeah, it's going to be different, but you know what? I deserve that change. Sometimes discomfort will allow you to move. And I'll just share with you. There was a gentleman that I said, you know what? I don't need to be here anymore. And from that sheer discomfort of, I may just have to see this person at Starbucks. I may just have to see this person when I go pick up some clothes. I need to get out of here. That was the best discomfort. It pushed me out. I said, nope. I am not going to go through the rest of my time in this town trying to duck and dodge people. Not going to do it. Ain't happening to me. I'm out. I love it. And just a cheat tip, anytime there's a breakup or discomfort with a partner, you can transmute that energy to push you into galaxies unknown. I know. I've done it. That's for a different talk. Hey, Detroit, what's up? Yeah, you improve your life through your family strengths, wanting to improve your faith in people, your family of strengths, I think. Yeah. And the thing is, you can be strong in so many things. Now, I stepped away purposely. I took the early retirement from flying. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sean. I took the early retirement in 2020 after 15 years of flying. Because I honestly said, I've mastered this. I've mastered getting ready. I've mastered being able to navigate any cancellations or getting around a country or helping a passenger or anything that comes with this. After 15 years, I believe I've mastered it. And more so, this was a dream. So my decision to change was solely based on the fact I did it once, I can do it again. I'm betting on me. I'm taking what people call change and using it to throw me into another galaxy. I don't need to say, you know what, I don't like this, but what else am I going to do? This is as good as it's going to get. It can't get any better than this. I'm flying all over the place. I meet people. So human beings, we are limitless in what we may achieve. when you decide that you are without limits. And even saying that, it sounds like, come on, Hope. Yo, that doesn't, come on. Yeah, like and share. I appreciate the likes and I appreciate the shares. I appreciate you, Sean. Here's the thing. And I spoke about this yesterday in our talk that was the limitations we put on ourselves. What limitation have you put on yourself in this? Because that compounds. That compounds. And I speak of this because it came up through a friend. I now live in Hawaii, and she said, you know, Hope, I'm going to come and spend 3 months in Hawaii, but I haven't found a place, and it's hard to find a place, and no one's going to give me a place. And but wait a minute, what? What's up, T? How do you know that? You don't know that. How about you just say it will work out? But that's the same thing with change. And as I was talking to a friend of mine who I used to fly with, we were speaking about that. We were speaking how some of the senior flight attendants, good to see you. We were speaking of how some of the senior flight attendants just felt that we were taking their shine, which we weren't. For me, I just wanted this new fabulous job. I'm 22. You're paying me to travel the world. I already love to travel. So wait a minute. You're going to pay me to do what I love to do anyway? It's done for. I'm right where I need to be. I already like talking. I'm on here every day talking. Can you imagine me being your flight attendant on the plane? Can you imagine? I will say, and this is self-imposed, I am the universe's best flight attendant because change sparks a way for me to find a solution. I love interacting, and I seek to be that person where you leave and you say, man, that was wonderful. I loved everything about it until I didn't. Thank you, T. Oh, butterflies are a symbol of beautiful change. So this is exactly what I needed to see. How beautiful and powerful change can be when you stand empowered in change. Meaning, yes, it may be difficult. So what? Where did this whole notion of I'm not going to do it because it's hard come up? It's ridiculous. So what? I want to be known for doing hard things. I want to be known like, how does Hope keep doing that? Sure. Thank you, William Miller. And I don't consciously think how people will react to my personality. I will always say I meet everyone in respect and love. However, I have no ownership or responsibility of the response of someone else. So, what's not to love? It's hope. However, there's something more about it. Thank you. Thank you, T. I felt that, and it's received. Thank you. So with change, 3 questions to ask yourself. Because we spoke of how comfort prevents us from changing. Yeah, participation awards. We reward effort just as much as we reward accomplishment. Sure. I don't see that as a negative or a positive. Sometimes it is the fact that you tried. For me, the fact that I tried means that there were several things that I had to go through to get to that point of trying. Me actually seeing what it is, me saying yes, me going through the motions and attempting, sure. I don't even think it's always about winning. It's the fact that you did it, because if you did it, I guarantee you there's at least 1,000 people that are saying, I wish I would have done it, but I don't want people to see me trying. I wish I would have tried, but I don't want anyone to see me not do well. I wish I would have done it, but why? I wish I would have done it, but nah, I don't think so. In that regard, participation is the win. Because I'm a goofball, like I clown most of the time. I do not get embarrassed at anything. Ask my friends, ask my family. I don't have that embarrassment. Embarrassment is often how you perceive what other people are of you. I'm not thinking about what other people are thinking of me. I'm thinking about what I think of me. And that's why it's so easy for me to change. And I often don't sit on the option of change too long. Because it doesn't matter, William Miller. So what? And I will actually jump back and speak, I will give a little tidbit about that. However, the fact of embarrassment and change is often people won't change because I'm too embarrassed to do that. Well, what is that? What is embarrassment anyway? If someone in the chat can Google the definition of embarrassment and copy and paste it into the chat, it would be fantastic, because I would love actually to read the definition of embarrassment, and I appreciate you. You're a part of me. You're a part of this. A goal, whatever keeps you going is enough. And sure, I love writing down goals or thinking of goals. We spoke about this yesterday briefly. I'm not someone that writes goals all the time, but I have it and I know it. A feeling of self-consciousness, shame, or awkwardness. I turn red with embarrassment. Thank you, got your back, bro. Good to see you again. Okay, so let's break that down. What is embarrassment? It's a feeling of self-consciousness. I'm aware. Shame, which is a really heavy feeling, or awkwardness. I can see why that would stop you from changing. If I feel shame, that keeps most people from doing anything. Shame from a family member, shame from a friend. Awkward, I don't know how to do this, I'm dropping everything. No, I'm not going to do that. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's say the opposite. What is the opposite of embarrassment? See, I would think it's empowerment. But again, let's see the opposite of shame. So what is the opposite of shame? And furthermore, how can even the embarrassment, William, most people carry shame. Most people carry shame in so many ways we don't even know. Ask any therapist. We have so much shame within us that there's reasons why we're doing things because of shame from elementary school. Confidence. Boom. My favorite word, indifference. Because I love confidence. I speak on confidence. I'm working on a confidence course. I am known for confidence. I will pump you up. I will say you can do it because you can. But if I go into everything with confidence, not thinking what's my time going to be, how well am I going to be, am I going to get this gold medal? Why does that even matter? That's something that's outward. That's something that's outward. But when you go forward with confidence, yeah, I'm going to change because it's me. Yeah, I'm going to change because what am I going to learn? Yes, I'm going to change because you know what? I have this niece or nephew or a child or someone that needs to see this example. And I do believe in sometimes using those people that are watching us because there are always someone that is watching us. We influence in so many ways. We influence in so many ways. This is why I show up the way I show up. And women, we know how to decorate ourselves in so many different ways. However, it's important to show up in this form, with this hair, with this beautiful skin. It's important for me to show up because maybe someone needs to see it. And maybe it'll spark a change in them. However, let's go back to that lack of embarrassment. Because I shared on my last live how I purposely put myself in these uncomfortable positions to always reinforce that discomfort that comes with change, that embarrassment. And what is embarrassment? It's shame, it's awkwardness, it's self-consciousness that it's like a running dialogue through the day. But being aware of it and knowing like, wait a minute, is this even my program that I'm running? Or is this something that my mom said throughout my childhood that is still implanted? Is this something that society says I need to fulfill? Is this something that even I want to carry anymore? Is this even important to me? Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. I can release this. I do. Thank you. I do. I say my mom and dad are in my board of trustees. And I don't listen to everybody. That's a whole nother speech. You can't be listening to everybody. However, I trust them. I love them. They've gone through some things. And they give me real advice. This is why I can come and just show up like this, empowered. And it isn't about what you came from. Listen, because even with change, it all starts in here. Before I moved to Hawaii, I remember wanting, like, I'm going to move to Hawaii. Thank you. Oh, that's great. Teachers are some of our biggest comforters. So I love that. Thank you. I take that as a huge compliment. I remember envisioning what it would feel like when I walk outside. I share with everyone. I do my sexy walks in the morning. I've always been a runner. I'm like a hardcore athletic person, but now I do a sexy walk. I don't need to be running my 10 miles a day. No. So I do a sexy walk. I swing my arms, and my sister said, "You look like one of those elderly people in the morning." So if they're up walking in the morning, I want to be with them. Because if you are 85 and you take 3-mile walks every morning and you have your flexibility, I need to be following you. That's not a bad thing to me. That's something to aspire to. That's something to aspire to. Also, here's change really breeds something that is so indestructible that at this point, what can you tell me? You can't tell me anything. Yeah, listen, I'm not against the mall walkers, okay? I could get a little pretzel, right? I could get a Miss Fields cookie. Don't knock the mall walkers. The fact that you're walking is the point. So I have to say that, listen, I'll be a walker anywhere except for like Walmart. But the mall walkers, I'm with you. I stand with you, and I may be with you. The determination to change is part of the catalyst of change. When I knew I was going to move to Hawaii, and I was currently living on the East Coast, I'd moved from New York to Jersey, and I said, you know, I'm in New York City and I'm not going to have any of these services. So what? Do I go to Broadway every day? No. You would have to update me what Wally World is. I'm not aware. So please update me in the chat. You don't enjoy? It sounds like you do enjoy a cinnamon pretzel, and so would I. Those are delicious. I don't. I really don't. But if you see me, I have a determined walking look on my face. Okay? I got somewhere to be. I digress. Exactly. You do. I already saw it, T. It's all right. Right. So I started thinking, I don't go to Broadway every day. And here's the thing, if I want to, I can fly and go see a show. I don't go to these shops every day that everyone speaks about in New York, but if I want to, I can fly back. But what I love is being outside. What I love is feeling the sun on my skin. What I love is running on the beach. What I love is essentially being outside more than inside, because what I have found living in the cities that I've lived in, most of the life is inside. It's not outside. The inside is beautiful. Inside the buildings and the boutiques, it's beautiful. I don't care about that anymore. And in reality, I've lived in the world's best cities. I've done it. I've done it for 15 years. It's time for something new. I can release that. And furthermore, when I decided to move to Hawaii, I said, check this out. I want to live where I would vacation. No longer am I living somewhere and then flying to the beach to vacation. No. What I prefer